Well, it's been about 2 months since I've done an update. Thought I'd do one, show all the kind of small stuff I've been working on. A lot of little things, it takes time. Not one big thing like painting or the walls or whatever. Each of these little things I'm gonna talk about take a couple hours, but it all adds up. So got all the block painted. We got the I-beams painted gray. Try to pick a color that matches the siding is kind of my goal. That when you open the doors, it kind of all ties together and kind of blends in. So anyway, I got that done. And a decent job trying to paint all that. It's real slow going. You gotta sit there and kind of poke at it, try to get it inside that center block. So you might do 15 feet in an hour and come back another day and do some more, and you're working on your knees, and it's really, it kind of wears on you. So anyway, that took some time, just picking away at it over a couple weeks, and again, got that done. So probably gonna jump around a little bit. Like I said, a lot of little things to talk about. I got the shop area kind of set up how I'm wanting it. Got plenty more to do on it, of course, but workbench, tools, I gotta figure out how I'm gonna deal with the tools. I don't know if I'm gonna do pegboard or get a big toolbox with wheels on it I can wheel around the garage when need be. It's kind of feels like that's the way I'm heading versus organizing all that on the wall and then you need it somewhere else in the garage. So, but anyway, still got that to figure out. Let's see, got my motorcycle lift over here, kind of doubles as a table. Got my welder receptacles in, all my light switches working. I can't remember exactly where things were in the last update, but we got all the wiring done, all the receptacles done, inside, outside. The only thing left on the wiring is the outside lights. I gotta still hook up. I got my air compressor put in. It's a 80-gallon, 2-stage, 5-horse. Debated back and forth on how big to go or small or whatever, and it's kind of a good middle ground price-wise and size-wise. You want something that can get up to 175 PSI and is going to recover fairly quickly. You got to look at all the SCFM rates and again the horsepower and all that stuff, and trying to weigh all the different options and whatnot, and ended up picking this one. And I've ran it just for a couple minutes and it's working, but I can't really comment on it more than that at this point. I still got to finish tying it in with the wiring a little bit and connections, trying to design that a little bit. So coming out with a valve regulator. I want to have a quick disconnect here for another hose and hook that hose up to it. And I just ran it over like that for now into this pull down reel. And that's pretty simple. I'm sure over time I may upgrade it, put some hard plumbing in, maybe put some more attachment points around the garage. But really this reel can reach anywhere in the garage, so that's already on a pretty good start. You have to be doing some serious work probably on the other side to fool with running a whole nother line over the other side. Again, a second hookup over here, I can work on the workbench with if I need to. Got my shop lights, my bench lights mounted. Actually made a pretty big difference. It seemed like the camera doesn't pick up the lights in here very well. You probably see some black areas and whatnot. It looks a lot better in person when it seems to show up on the video, but anyway, nice and bright, happy with that. Next thing is my heaters putting in. So I got one there and one on the other side over there. They're infrared type, and I debated on that a while back, trying to decide on infrared versus a furnace, and there's good and bad with both systems. And then how many do I need? What size do I need? Where am I gonna put them in the garage that makes the most sense? How am I gonna get the plumbing to it? What size plumbing? Just tons of things to think through ahead of time. And I'm probably about 80% done with it actually. All I've got to do now is run my plumbing from the heater down to this connection point or where it comes to the wall here. So basically, it'll come up through here. I'm gonna top tee off there. I'm gonna have the piping run this way and that way, just right on top of that seam so you don't see it as much. And then run again down to that one. It'll have a sediment trap and a tee and flex hose into the heater. So really all I got left to do is just plumb that in. It just takes some time. Like today I'm gonna stop and get a piece made exactly 88 inches at the top, because you gotta have them custom cut it and threaded. I can't do that here. Then you do that one, then I'll take another measurement down to the wall. I can get that one made, take some more measurements. So a lot of trips to the hardware store just over time. And not in a huge hurry, so just as I'm coming past the hardware store, I'll pick up another piece type of thing. But it's a pretty sizable job trying to get that through that wall and get all the dimensions on the outside just right. A lot of guesswork with those threads. You can measure, but then how far is it going to go in? It's not exact science down to it's plus or minus 1/8 of an inch, and when you're trying to get through that wall, it's real tight fit through there. anyway, I kind of got lucky with it. It worked out easier than I thought it would have. But what I'm thinking on these heaters is that having it here will kind of keep it from shining on the Falcon, which I plan on putting in this back corner. And if you're working in this area, it kind of keeps you warm. And then over here, kind of near the shop, again, kind of keeps some heat in this area. I'm not sure, I mean, how much heat you're gonna feel coming off of it. You know, like for instance, if you're standing 20 feet back there, are you gonna feel it? I don't know. But at least if you're over here and you first come in, it's cold, kicking on, you know, it'd be nice and warm, at least in this area. Haven't figured out how I'm gonna do the thermostats yet, because it comes with one for each. I could plumb them or wire them into one switch, or I can have individual ones, kind of where I'm heading for now. What I probably end up doing is having one is, like this one over here is the one that runs all the time. And then if it can't keep up on the dead of winter, that one kicks on. And that way, I feel like you're gonna want the heat over here more often. So, whereas if you wire them together, and they're either both gonna run at the same time or they're not type of thing. So we'll see if that works out, but pretty easy to rewire it if I need to. Come along up here, little crane setup. Talk about the wire or the plumbing situation real quick. So, got my water line coming in. This is all just kind of fabbed up, nothing's sweated in yet, but got my sink. Try to get everything to kind of match a little bit. Some darker colors to match the block and whatnot. It's kind of like, might as well, there's options. Might as well try to get it to blend together, kind of nice. But anyway, it comes out, it's gonna go into the back of the sink, come over, go into the hot water tank, and then come out of there, and the hot water is gonna feed this hose reel. I got a kind of automatic retracting hose reel for it. So I'll have it come into a T with valving that you can combine, you know, adjust how hot you want it. It's nice having hot water into a hose sometimes, washing cars, filling up a bucket, whatever. Or if you just want cold, you can just run the cold water. So anyway, it'll come back this way, and of course get hot water into the sink. And that is, I'm trying to think, that's all I'm hooking up. This is a sink and a hose reel for now. Who knows, I may put a water fountain in it one day, but it'd be easy to tap in somewhere to deal with that. My plumbing through the wall there, or my drain line. I'm trying to talk kind of quick because this can turn into a long video if I'm not careful. There's a lot to talk about still yet. So anyway, this is a work in progress. Hopefully in the next couple weeks have it wrapped up. So far so good on it. You know, I guess I'll mention the hot water tank real quick. You know, I got one I think is the right size for what I'm trying to do. You wouldn't want to try to power a house with it probably. If you're running a couple things at once, it may not keep up. But for one thing at a time, I think it's gonna be fine. And it doesn't seem like I have a lot of pressure out here. You know, it's going all the way through the house, through a 1/2-inch line, a bunch of 90s and whatnot to get out here. It seems like by the time it gets here, it's not just, you know, it doesn't have tons of pressure. Let's put it that way. It probably is gonna have enough for what I'm doing. So anyway, it's not gonna have a lot of flow, I guess is my point. So I think that'll keep up just fine. Get some pull down extension cords put in, and giving those a try, a couple of them. Probably gonna put one more back here by the workbench somewhere. So back in July timeframe, spent a lot of time on the gravel situation. So I got a bunch of gravel back here. I think I brought in about 43 tons total for the whole job I'm gonna show you. But try to get a pad level down here for the pool we put in. That's what took most of the gravel, is just getting that level, because it kind of dropped off back there. That'd be probably, I don't know, 18 inches of gravel back there, which is a lot. Especially this stuff, it's called Class 10. It's got a lot of fines in it, so it packs really nice. I really like it. But it doesn't get, you don't get very far per ton as compared to something that's got air in it, like 57 gravel. But this all turned out kind of how I wanted. Comes into the steps real nice. Got my grass growing back here. Got my outside outlets all wired up. And all this gravel. This is all handwork in here, wheelbarrowing from the tractor or the pile. Couldn't get the tractor back here, it's just not enough space right here. But got my driveway covered in it. Probably the last time I showed it, it was a mixture of mud and some gravel and whatnot. Now it's got a nice layer of packed in gravel. It'll just probably get better with time, kind of getting packed in. Like I said, you really need that fines mixed in. I've seen some people do driveways with loose gravel. It's just, I don't understand why. It just, there's no advantage to it other than maybe it goes a little bit further per dollar, but as you drive on it, it goes flying, gets off the road. Like I said, it doesn't pack. It lets water go through it, which keeps the ground underneath it wetter. Water kind of sheds off this, I've noticed, because like I said, it's almost a watertight pack in there. So it keeps it drier and less smushy underneath. Again, I don't know why anybody wouldn't use either Crusher Run or Class 10 on a driveway. But anyway, back here, still got a lot going on. Got my gas line finished ran from, I left it back there last summer, just buried, put a cap on it, and finished running it up to here. Again, there's my line coming in. Still got to dress it up a little bit. I'm bringing some more dirt there and fill it in a little better, plant some grass and whatnot. My drain lines here, I had them connect in and kind of tied two together. That way I didn't have to run 3 lines down to the woods. So it ended up being 2, and then they go like a 45 that way. Buried them, they just dump out over there. Backfilled all that. Got this smoothed out pretty good. I think over time it'll be smooth enough to mow it. That's kind of my goal. And then working on the deck project. That's what I was just working on this morning. So trying to tie this deck back in, and it's not going to look perfect at the end of the day, but I think it's going to look good enough. I mean, the rest of the deck isn't in the best of shape ever. It's probably only got 5 or 10 years left in it before it probably needs upgraded. But what I'm doing is basically building a box around here to give me points to screw the top pieces into all the way around. I just bolted that to the side into the concrete and stuff. And I'm going to use the old boards that I tore out from this and just sit there and custom cut each one to where, like this one here, it'll just extend out that way, tie in. Here, same thing. When I get to here, it'll go that way. And anyway, that'll get me all the way down to here. And then, let's see, I'll probably build a little step or something down over that way. Let's see what else. I'll probably finish this handrail over there somehow and be done with it. Again, it's not going to look great, but good enough for what it is. I'm trying to think of anything else out here worth mentioning I've done since the last update. Back inside, I think that might be about it. Again, painting's pretty well done. I ended up having some, like where the knots were in the plywood, some places are worse than others. Kind of like the sap came through. So I may touch that up with another coat at some point. The thing is, you put another coat on it, it may do the same thing. But I'm thinking maybe if you give it some time to really seep out and dry up and be done, then paint it one last time, it'll probably be okay. And it doesn't look bad. It's just in a couple spots. That was probably some of the worst. Some places you really don't see any of it. Just depend on that top layer where those knots were. But anyway, like I said, gas plumbing, water plumbing, and finish up that, the air plumbing, and then the deck. I'm really kind of coming down to the end at that point, but still plenty to do. Still got to do the siding on the house, take down a bunch of trees this winter. That's just to get through the winter, and then at some point I got to upgrade the wiring on the house. I've mentioned all this before, so a lot more to do still yet, but the garage is really kind of coming down to the end. After I started in October of 21 is when I truly started building, we'll say. It was years before that of planning and saving and everything else, so it's really been a 5-year ordeal. I kind of look at it like. But I took the first piece off that hot tub hut that was here in October of 21, so it's really coming down to almost about 2 years of nonstop work to get to this point. So feels good to kind of come down to the end, but maybe I get to another point where I get all that finished up and done. I'll take another quick video.